Roll
I don't think the person in Japan listening to us cares to hear about our Nick Saban sob stories.
Welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast with your boys, Dunny, Wine, and Whitehall! Pre-Snap Podcast!
All right, welcome to the podcast. I'm Dunny.
I'm Worm.
And I'm Whitehall.
All right, so today we got the NFC. Y'all want to go north, south, east, west?
Sure, make it
Sounds
nice and
good,
easy.
man.
All right. I guess Whitehall, you kick us off with the NFC North.
All right, so the North is I'd say probably one of the most competitive divisions in all of the NFL right now. You got the Lions, Bears, Vikings, and Packers. I could see all four of these teams making a playoff run. I think the biggest question marks right now is probably surrounding the Vikings, obviously with their quarterback battle. Will Kevin O'Connell be able to work some magic with Kyler Murray? Is Kyler Murray going to be able to revitalize his career there? But I do look at the Vikings. They have, one of the best defenses. I think they probably had I didn't look up the stats, but at least a top 3 defense last year. And then they still have Justin Jefferson. Oh my God, who's their second receiver? Y'all help me out.
Jordan Addison.
Thank you, Jordan Addison.
He also picked up Jawan Jennings.
And TJ Hawkinson at running back, tight end, Aaron Jones. So I don't know. I think they're kind of a sleeper team. But I got them finishing actually in third. Which I think is probably surprising. I think most people probably have them finishing last, but if y'all want, I'll just run it down my list. I got the Lions winning this division, them finishing first. I got the Bears in second, Vikings in third, Packers in fourth.
So what was it with the Packers? What was the turnoff?
So to be honest, I think it's less about the Packers. It's less about how I don't like the Packers. And more so I just feel better about these other 3 teams. The Lions, they're going to play a last place schedule. They actually have a really easy schedule. But they added some good pieces. They got that first round pick offensive tackle Blake Miller. He's actually going to play right tackle, and then they're moving Penei Sewell to the left tackle. I think they just had a down year last year. I think they're just going to make a comeback. They did sign Isaiah Pacheco and Cade Mays at center, so they've shored up that offensive line. Even though they did lose a couple key pieces on that O-line, they've shored that back up. Quick fun fact about Cade Mays at center. Bryce Young, he's 3-5 without Cade Mays. So don't know how good Cade Mays is, but Bryce Young seemed to not do so hot without him. But with the Packers, Micah Parsons, he's out till week 6. They did add Javon Hargrave on the D-line. They did add Zaire Franklin from the Colts. But they pretty much, those 2 were just replacements because they lost Quay Walker and Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys. So they didn't really do a whole lot. They didn't have a first-round draft pick, so they just didn't have a lot of additions. And so, again, I think I just like the other 3 teams better.
Okay. I'm kind of in the same boat with you. You had Lions and Bears first, second.
Yep, Lions 1, Bears 2.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got Packers and then Vikings. I got Vikings last. But yeah, the Lions and Bears, they're pretty similar teams. I mean, both of them had great offenses last year and then mediocre defenses. Bears defense was actually pretty trash last year. But they got a new I want to say they got a new defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, maybe.
Hey, I think yeah, you're right.
Of course, they lose DJ Moore, but they added Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, I don't think that's comparable, but
No, not by any sort.
And they did draft Xavier Thomas, out of LSU in the 3rd round. I don't know how good he'll be, but that's another addition they got.
Yeah, and I know they added, Kobe Bryant, a free safety,
Yep.
but I think he just got hurt. I think they're
Mm.
saying he's gonna be out for 8 to 10 weeks,
So
so
they've actually had multiple injuries. They've had 3 to 4 of their defensive backs injured in practice.
golly. Yeah, I mean, when you have a defense coming off 28th last year in yards allowed, and then you're facing all these injuries, not
That's
good
tough.
news, but I think your offense, is good enough to get you at least in the 2 spot of the NFC North.
Not to cut you off here, I did have an interesting note. I thought this was wild, um, but since they have some DB trouble, I looked at the free agent list. Trayvon Diggs is a free agent, and he's only 28 years old, which, yeah, is kinda up there
Mm.
and, getting up there in age for a cornerback, but, yeah, I mean, Trayvon Diggs was one of the best corners feels like, 2 years ago. I know he had an injury bug, and then they also Jeff Okudah, he's 27 years old. Marshawn Lattimore, he's 30. So they got some options in free agent if they need to replace some of these guys.
They had Diggs in a Bears uniform?
Yeah. Oh,
That'd be dope.
mhm.
Although I do hate the Bears, so but yeah, the second's the Bears. Lions, they had a 9 and 8 last year. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that. I love Dan Campbell. Absolutely love the guy. They got a new offense coordinator, Drew Petzing, which I mean, I don't think that plays a huge role when you got Dan Campbell. They didn't really lose anyone other than Montgomery, but he was kind of, splitting reps, which I'd say he got less reps than Gibbs. What was Gibbs's contract? It was one of the highest, wasn't it?
3 years, 64 million or something like that.
Mm,
Golly, man.
Something like that.
rightfully so. Hey, I just I
Yeah.
just I just wanted to jump in real quick. You said no one was expecting the Lions record last year. Just
Other
wanna
than you,
I
other
just
than
wanna
you, I
just wanna
guess.
throw it out there. I did have the Lions missing the playoffs last year in my predictions. So, I figured with the new OC and new DC, I was like, they're just yeah, so just wanted y'all to know I'm super smart.
And like the Bears, they're also facing secondary problems.
Mm,
Both Branch and Joseph, both their safeties are. I don't think they're out, but I think they're battling injuries.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got them at 1 and 2, Packers at 3, and it's more or less. I don't have faith in the Vikings to fill that 3 spot. I mean, the Packers are. They lose Romeo Dobbs, Quay Walker, Micah Parsons is expected to return week 6. So, I mean, when you look at these NFC North teams, I feel like these are all, other than Vikings, these are all solid offenses, like top 10, top 15. But then I think it's going to come down to their defense.
And they have a top 3 defense in the NFL. Um, so I think the Vikings defense is actually gonna help carry them to some wins. They got Brian Flores as their DC is just phenomenal, one of the best in the game. So that's kinda why I bumped the Vikings above the Packers.
Okay. What you got, Ashley? Worm.
Yeah, so I'm not on the same page with y'all with all this. I got the Lions in first place, and then I got the Packers in second place, and I got the Bears in third, and then the Vikings in fourth. I think the Vikings are going to suck. I know their defense. I will honestly, um, golly, as number two, I can't remember what his name was, but last year I saw him a few times, a few different games, and he was just making plays left and right. I think he's a cornerback. But anyway, I don't think that the Vikings are going to be very good, especially with their offensive problems. Um, the Bears, I think Ben Johnson is a heck of a coach, man. I think
Mm.
he has freaking came around and made the Bears fans believe again. I know he was there with at the Lions uh 2 years ago, and they went. That's when they won like 15 games. and then they didn't he take the Vikings to or no the Bears? He took the Bears to the 11-6 record last year, so they had a daggum good year. I just don't think that they're going to be able to do that again. To be honest, they have a. I know that you just talked about how like in the NFL, while before we got talking was like the schedules. It's kind of hard to say who has a hard schedule and who doesn't because it's the NFL, right? But from week 5 to week 9, they have a real tough schedule. It's at Green Bay, at Atlanta, versus New England, at Seattle, and then versus Tampa Bay. And I just don't know if I mean, there's a chance. Obviously, there's a chance you can lose any game, but there's a chance that they could get through there and not win a dang game. Because I just don't know. I still don't know if I believe in Caleb Williams, man. I know they had a heck of an offense last year, but I feel like it was one of those offenses that was just like really, really explosive. It was honestly not to go back to college football, but it was almost like Alabama offense. It's like it's really explosive or it's nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not consistent. I
Yeah,
agree. And
yeah,
I mean, I hate to say it, but some of it was almost just luck. I don't want to say luck because
yeah,
Caleb Williams made some incredible plays, but when you watched them, none of their wins were just, hey man, the Bears showed up today and just dominated that football game. It's like they were down, made a comeback in the fourth quarter and kind of squeaked out a win, which a win's a win, but
right.
didn't always look pretty.
Yeah, because like there's always a few teams that you talk about each year that hey, this team's won 5 or 6 games by 3 or less, or like 7 or less, and those teams, usually win double-digit games, and they did that last year. But anyway, not to keep on freaking beating a dead horse. I think the Packers are gonna come along. I think that their offense is gonna be a little bit more consistent. Uh, I just think that their wide receiver core has been together for a couple years now. So honestly, if they don't get it together up there, they need to make some big changes.
I hate to interrupt.
Yeah.
Last play of the Hall of Fame game. Haynes King
Oh yeah.
scores, wins the game.
I was gonna say, as far as the Packers go, just I don't know if it's been mentioned, but they did lose Jeff Halfley as their
Mm,
defensive coordinator. Obviously, he's down there at Miami now as the head coach. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how much he was kind of playing a factor in all that. But
Yeah.
anytime you lose a coach like that, it's tough.
For sure. And really it just kind of comes down to the division really, and I think that the Packers will get the best of Bears and the Vikings to be in second place behind the Lions. I just think the Lions are a more complete team. I love freaking Dan Campbell, like y'all are talking about. He's
MCDC.
that hard nosed coach that you really want to play for, and they could. It's crazy because this division we were talking, and it very well could be the best division in football. To be honest, like
Probably right behind the NFC West.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. NFC West this year or last year at least, it was the best, and then the year before that, NFC North was like daggum
Hmm.
ridiculous. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So that's what I got. I got the Lions winning the NFC North.
All right. So we're all consistent with the Lions. That's interesting. So we're moving on to the South. Is that correct?
yeah, and let's start off. I got number one, the Panthers, especially just after watching the Haynes King Hall of Fame scramble from the 11-yard line last play of the game for the win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
give me the Panthers. They are battling. I don't know if you guys got ESPN alerts on, but those dudes are dropping like flies. Nick Gordon, I think he tore his ACL. He might be out for the year or is out for the year. Both offensive tackles. One, I think it's Moten. I'm not sure how you say his name. He has blood clots. And the other one, I'm not even going to try to say his name. He tore his patella tendon, I'm pretty sure. So that worries me a lot, especially when I put them at one, in my unbiased opinion, of course. But they did add Devin Lloyd, linebacker, had 5 interceptions last year.
Huge addition.
Yeah. 2 Bucks kinda same thing as last year. I mean, this whole division, I think, is, up for grabs for really anybody.
Yeah.
I think yeah, I wouldn't be surprised really if any team, wins the NFC South. Um, but 2, I got the Bucks. I love Baker Mayfield, especially after watching, quarterback, just finished it today. I've always loved that guy. And then I'm gonna go I didn't do records. I'm gonna save that for tomorrow, but just off the top of my head, I think I'm gonna give me the Falcons. If is Tua QB1 or is they still battling?
I think because Michael Penix is still, he's still coming off an injury, so I think it's very
Yeah.
likely that Tua is gonna be QB1 at least week 1.
Well, I hope that Tua bounces back, and I mean, I don't wanna say I hope they win because I don't, but I hope Tua has a great year, so give me the Falcons at 3 and then the Saints, last.
I got the Saints winning the NFC South. As you were saying,
Mm,
this whole thing's kinda up for grabs, and I just like what I saw from the Saints in the back half of the season. The last 5 games, they were 4-1. Tyler Shuck was averaging 260 pass yards a game. He had a 99 passer rating, 70% completion. He threw 5 touchdowns to 2 picks, 135 rush yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. So I think he's starting to come along. This will be his 2nd year. We'll get to see more of him. They added Travis Etienne, with him and Alvin Kamara in the backfield. That's a great 1-2 punch. They drafted Jordan Tyson, who, many were saying is maybe the best receiver in this draft. Obviously, Carnell Tate was taken first. Jordan Tyson had some injury issues, but him and Chris Olave, they still got Jawan Jennings, I believe, at tight end, or he might have left. But regardless, they got a great offense. This is Kellen Moore's going into his 2nd season as the head coach. I think he's a pretty good head coach. We'll see really how he does. But all in all, I don't know. I like the Saints, and again with the way this division is, I could just see them stringing some wins together. They actually have a pretty easy schedule. When I was looking through it, I could easily see them getting up to 10 wins, which 10 wins in the NFC South probably gets you the division winner title. So um, I got the Panthers finishing 2nd. I do love the addition of Devin Lloyd. I think that's huge. They added Jalen Phillips, Jonathan Brooks coming back. He was hurt a lot of last year. Um, defense, they still got JC Horn. So I like the Panthers. I think Bryce Young's starting to figure out his footing in this league. So I got them at 2nd. The Bucks, they've the reason why I got the Bucks so low, I don't want this to happen. I just think it will. Baker's playing on a prove it year. So he's basically he's trying to get a bag. And I think sometimes, like, knowing Baker and kind of his personality, I think he might try to do too much at times. And the way that they just unraveled last year, I mean, they looked like one of the best teams in football through 7, 8 weeks last year, and they just completely fell apart. That worries me. Um, Todd Bowles, their head coach, get this. He has a 61-74 coaching record.
mm.
He has a postseason record of 1-3. Now at Tampa, he's 35-33, but I just question him as a head coach. Um, I think if we were doing a hot seat, he would definitely be on it for me. They lost Mike Evans, Levante David retired. So I don't know. I could see the Bucks struggling this year. Um, and in a tight division, we're looking at one game apart from all these teams, but I think the Bucks finished 3rd. And for me, the Falcons finished 4th. Like you said, the QB battle, Kevin Stefanski's first year with the team. They got a great team. I think they could definitely finish higher, but just kind of too many question marks for me, too many first. I think it's gonna give them another year or two, and they'll be looking at winning this division. But yeah, I got Saints, Panthers, Bucks, and Falcons.
Okay. What you got, Worm?
So this this division's kind of weird, to be honest with you. Freaking the Tampa Bay Bucks, Atlanta Falcons, and Carolina Panthers all went 8-9 last year, and then New Orleans. Saints came up the rear 6-11. That's just crazy to me. I think I remember last year watching at the end of the year, like, who the heck is going to take this division? It's crazy. Because I was hoping that it was Carolina. And who ended up taking it? I'm pretty sure
It
it
was
was.
it was Carolina in a in a
That's what,
weird in a
it was
weird
like a draw,
tiebreaker.
some weird thing. Yeah.
It was
But
the
anyway,
right choice. That's what it was.
yeah. I just don't know about New Orleans. Kellen Moore, he's a pretty good coach. He's also been a pretty good offensive coordinator in a couple of different spots. I just don't know if they're going to be able to stop. I think that the other offenses in this division are going to run all over that defense. I think that defense is kind of weak down there in New Orleans. So I have them in fourth. In third, I have the Carolina Panthers. I just think that it's almost like the Bears last year. There was a couple of games that they could have very well lost that they won, and I think this year they're not going to win those games that were close. Uh, I think with Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay and Atlanta, you could argue that either one of them teams have the best roster in that division. Tampa Bay, I think, freaking honestly, in my opinion, I think Tampa Bay from top to bottom. I think that they have more of a veteran presence and more weapons to be. Well, maybe not weapons on offense, but that offense has been together. They got, they still got Bucky Irving, Emeka Egbuka, Chris Godwin Jr., Jalen McMillan. Like, yeah, they got oh golly, what's his daggum face? The old wide receiver that just they got rid of.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans. For some, I couldn't freaking think of his name, but Mike Evans. Yeah, I know he's gone, and I kind of do agree with what you're talking about with Baker and trying to do too much. And I think that he relied on him a lot. Uh, but I think so with this offense, man, and you could say this about any offense, really. Whenever they get away from running the football, they
Mhm.
start just being terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. And then Baker's out there running for his life, like you're just talking about, trying to do too much. And the next thing you know, they're going down with a 2-minute drive or something, and he throws a daggum pick after he just ran 45 yards and only gained 6. He's
Mhm.
just trying to do too much. And I could see the Tampa Bay coming in second, but I do think the Tampa Bay, like I just said, is the better team. I think they're better coached too. But you said is Kevin Stefanski's first year? You said,
Yeah,
and I,
with the Falcons, obviously
yeah,
he was
yeah,
with the Browns for the last like 10 years or whatever it
yeah.
was.
So I just think that with them in their QB battle that they got going on, that's just a big iffy. That's just iffy. I think Baker
Mhm.
Mayfield's the most proven quarterback in the division, and I think he'll be able to take that. I know it. I mean, last year, like I just said, 3 teams were 8-9, so you'd think that Tampa Bay would just take it every single year with me saying that, but I do think that they will take it this year.
And I like your take honestly better than mine. I was to me this was kind of the division to have fun with, so I kind of had fun by putting the Saints in there. But I think everything you said makes perfect sense. I mean, again, the first half of the year last year, Baker Mayfield was in the MVP conversation. The Bucks look like Super Bowl favorites. Um, and so
Yeah.
if they can return to that form, I mean, I think the Bucks are definitely the team to beat here, even though the Panthers did win the division technically last year.
Right. And the Bucks, they picked up Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami,
Yes, yeah,
and they also got Alex Anzalone.
yeah, great linebacker, and they also got Kenneth Gainwell, which I
Yeah.
think pairing him with Bucky Irvin, that's a good 1-2 punch,
It's
like you said,
Jesus.
leaning a bit more on the
Jesus.
run game, and Kenneth Gainwell's great in the pass game. So yeah, kind of use those running backs more, take a little heat off of Baker.
Right.
So
Which
I like that take.
yeah, which I thought that they Because it was Rashad White, right? No, it used to be there, Will.
Yeah, he left. He signed somewhere else. I can't remember now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not more informed on that, but I thought him and Bucky, I thought were a good 1-2 punch, and like I just said, dude, I think that they're really good when they're effective running the ball, and I know even Bucky, today's day and age of football, you ain't got to hand the ball off to the running back for it to be a run. You can throw a
Just
quick little
yeah,
something,
little toss pass. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, in the flats or something, and Bucky's good at that, and
And like I
but
said,
anyway,
definitely Kenneth Gainwell. So
yeah, yeah,
to clean up our stats, Rashad White signed with the Commanders.
okay, nice.
All right. Any last takes on the South before we move on?
No,
All right. Next, we got the NFC East. I think this is another fun division. Ashley, you've been going last. You want to kick us off? Go first.
Yeah, sure, I'll go first, man. I got the Philadelphia Eagles first, if you believe that. I think this is another division that's just like, because like I think Washington has potential to be good, but honestly, I'm predicting them to be really bad. Like I'm predicting them to be the worst in in that division. I want to say conference. I'm sorry, in that division. Uh, but anyway, I got Philadelphia first. I just think that their team all around is just too talented, man. They play well together. They're coached well. I think everyone's a tight knit group up there, at least the core of those guys. And I mean, they've lost some pretty big pieces over the past few years, and they have continued to, be that team that has showed up and had double digit wins. Uh, but anyway, I think Philadelphia will take it. I think that in second place will be Dallas. Actually, um, I think Dallas is going to be another Dallas Cowboy team that everybody gets their hopes up for, and then quickly realizes that we ain't got no run game and we ain't got no defense, and we can't just throw it to CD every game. So this division, golly, I'm sorry. I just feel like these teams, besides Philadelphia, are just kind of not, in my opinion, aren't going to be very good. I think the Giants, though, man, they could possibly freaking be in second place. I think them and Dallas will be real close, and I think Washington will be in fourth. But I think the Giants could get on a nice run, especially with that daggum, they call it nowadays the aura they got up there, aura, whatever.
They've been the word farming.
Yeah,
Jackson Dart got some swag. I like
yeah.
him.
Jackson Dart and daggum Cam Scattaboo and freaking Malik Neighbors, he's coming back.
Yeah, well, I'll hop in because I got a little bit of not arguments with you, but
Mm-hmm.
I do got the Commanders coming in last. I'm not huge on. They didn't really have any additions, to be honest. They added Stephon Diggs, I think today. But their receiving core is Terry McLaurin, Stephon Diggs, Luke McCaffrey, and they actually have Traylon Burks and Van Jefferson. It's just
Yeah.
they didn't add enough pieces for me to get excited about them. Um, on defense, I think they added that Adofe Alway or whatever his name is. But they didn't add enough for me to get excited, and I'm iffy on no, who's their head coach? What's his freaking name? But anyway, um, I'm just not big on them. Dan Quinn, yeah, I'm not big on Dan Quinn. But I got the Giants coming in third. Similar to you, I think everybody's kind of on the Giants are on their radar as a possible sleeper seventh seed playoff team, perhaps. With John Harbaugh coming in, you love that.
Yeah.
But their defense, dude, their defense is stacked. They got Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter. They just signed DJ Reader to a 1-year deal. He's a veteran. They signed Tremaine Edmonds at linebacker, and obviously they have Arvell Reese, and they have some decent defensive backs as well. So their defense is just stacked. Their offense, you got Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, Tyron Tracy. That's a good 1-2 punch at running back. Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Hyatt, OBJ, Juju Smith Schuster. They got Isaiah Likely at tight end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you look at their roster, it's like, dude, if Jackson Dart's legit, I think they could win this division, but, um, I got them coming in 3rd. 2nd, I got the Eagles. Uh, obviously, they lose A.J. Brown. They did lose, Jalen
True.
Phillips. They lost Nakobe Dean at linebacker, and they lost Reed Blankenship. They brought in Hollywood Brown. We'll see how that plays out. They drafted Makai Lemon. See how that plays out. I do like that they drafted Eli Stowers, however you want to say it, the tight end from
Yeah,
Vandy.
Titans.
Yeah, thought he was really good. But for me, I'm not. So their offensive coordinator, it's Sean Mannion. He actually just retired from the NFL in 2023. He's 34 years old as offensive coordinator.
Nice.
Um, so we'll kind of see how that plays out. He's gonna incorporate a lot more under center and play action. Um, so I think that'll benefit their offense a lot. I actually think they might be better without AJ Brown, but we'll see how it all plays out. I'm still iffy on Nick Sirianni, as I think most people are. So I think they're still going to be a good football team. That's why I got them coming in second. But I got the Cowboys in first, man. Like you said, the Cowboys are going to do Cowboys things. Well, what is the Cowboy thing? The Cowboy thing is they dominate the regular season and choke in the playoffs. That's a high likelihood of happening. But if we're talking about regular season finishing, the Eagles did something for the first time last year that hadn't happened in 20 years. The NFC East hasn't had a repeat division winner in 20 years up until last year. Obviously, the Eagles won it back to back. So I think we get back on that previous trend, and I think we're going to have a new division winner this year with it being the Cowboys. They added, Rashawn Gary, Quinnen Williams. They re-signed Javonte Williams. They got Kenny Clark last year. They drafted LT Overton. They got Caleb Downs. They got Malachi Lawrence, edge rusher from the draft. Like they've definitely revamped that defense. Um, and I know you said they don't have much of a run game, but Javonte Williams actually played really great for them last year, I thought. So I like that they re-signed him. And then of course, you still got a George Pickens, man. George Pickens he looks like a top 10 receiver along with CD Lamb. So and then of course if Dak Prescott plays good football, I could easily see the Cowboys win this division. That's why I got them finishing first.
Well, you guys pretty much said literally everything I was gonna say, from Quentin Williams to Sean Minion, Blankenship. Literally all my notes you guys hit on. So I was like, well, shit. The hell am I gonna say?
Well, what do your eye tests like? I mean, kind of from what you watched last year, what are like? Are you
I'm
expecting the Eagles to run it back, or like what does your eyes tell you? And
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ashley. I mean that I don't see any reason the Eagles shouldn't win this division. I mean, they're just so stacked, dude. They're a good team. Their defense is top 15 as opposed to the Cowboys top 30. Now the Cowboys, like you said, they're bringing Quentin Williams. But I just are you gonna turn a 30th ranked defense into top 15, top 10 in 1 year? Maybe I mean, plus you got a new defensive coordinator, which is good in their case.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I got the Eagles first. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't win. Cowboys, man, I want to say Cowboys too, but also the here's the thing. I compared the Cowboys and the Commanders. Both had terrible defenses. Commanders had the worst. Cowboys had the 30th. But I don't know any names. I can't remember any names. But the Commanders brought in like almost a whole new defense interior.
they
I
did.
wanna s
And
they got like 3 or 4 edges.
they're all kind of mid tier players, like what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that's bad, but yeah, none of them are like studs.
So I think just for the sake of being different, give me the Commanders 2, Cowboys 3.
Mm.
Now
You're
I
yeah.
do I think I don't know.
Mm.
If I had to bet on it, I would say Cowboys 2, but just
Yeah.
like I said, for the sake of being different. So just in case it does happen, I can look at both of you and say, "Ha, I told you so."
So
You
do you
know?
got so you got the Giants finishing last with that roster and John Harbaugh?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing though. It's like this division is kind of like the NFC uh South of last year. I think these are all going to be within one or
Yeah.
two games of each other.
Yeah, agreed.
So, I mean, if the Giants aren't good this year, then hell, they might be my favorite next year. I just don't know with all these new faces. Um, this is what's his name? Literally just talked about him.
John Harbaugh?
No, or boy.
Oh, Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Jackson Dart. We'll see how he plays in year 2, because I know we've always talked about how rookies have these great seasons and then their second
Mhm.
season is kind of iffy. So
I was big on Jackson Dart coming out of the draft though. I thought the Giants kind of got a steal. They drafted him late first round. They came back in and picked him up. And when that happened, I actually said, we might look back on that move 3, 4 years from now and be like, wow, the Giants really, really made a smart play there. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but can I see him being like Baker Mayfield esque, just being a solid starter, gritty, tough guy? He's a good runner. Yeah, but I am interested to see what he looks like in year 2.
yeah, I loved him at Ole Miss, and he always reminded me of actually another Ole Miss quarterback. I think his name is Corbin Carroll. You
Oh,
guys
Matt
remember him?
Matt Corral.
Matt Corral. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Corbin
yeah.
Carroll's a MLB baseball player.
Oh yeah,
Shout out
yeah,
Corbin
yeah.
Carroll, baby. What's
Hey,
up,
come on,
baby?
Ashley. Come on, man.
Rookie of the year.
Come on.
Diamondbacks.
Don't call us out. People listen to this podcast now. We gotta make them think we know what we're talking about. People gonna start
Hey,
looking up Corbin Carroll, like, oh, who is that guy? I don't
he plays football
He's
too.
fast,
Rookie of
baby.
the
dual
year
dual
and in the
athlete, baby.
NFL.
Yeah, right fielder.
I'm actually, you know who told me about Corbin Carroll? Not to get off track, but before he was good, old Barnett told me
Of
about
of
Corbin
Yeah,
course he
Carroll.
did. I was about to say, yeah.
You watch
yeah,
out for this guy. He's gonna be good.
yeah. He plays for the Arizona Diamondbacks, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, he
that
does.
makes sense. He's kind of out
Well,
that way.
well,
But
speaking of Arizona, we can go ahead and move on to the
yeah.
NFC West if y'all like to.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. Go
last
ahead.
thing I'll say about the NFC East is I think it very well could be one of the worst divisions in football. But
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I think it could be.
Hey, I respect the take. I actually think that, depending on how things shake out, I think they could possibly have three teams in the playoffs. I think Cowboys and Eagles are almost a lock for the playoffs, in my opinion. And again, I think the Giants might be a sneaky seventh seed. We'll
Yeah,
see how it all plays out.
I understand that.
All right, the NFC West. Dunnigan, since we stole all your talking points last round, you want to kick us off with the NFC West?
Yeah, now the West, I didn't do a lot of research on, so of course you leave me to talk for the the one.
Yeah. Well, I can start it off if you'd like, or Ashley.
I
I
mean,
don't care.
I'll just go ahead and give you. I mean, Rams. I mean, I feel like that's everybody.
Yeah, you'd be
I mean,
stupid not
that's
to.
yeah. I mean, the Rams. I'm not even gonna talk about them. I'll just say one Rams. Um, two. I don't see why the Seahawks wouldn't be two. Now, 49ers, you could push to. They got Debo back now. Is Debo getting old? How
He,
old
Yeah,
is
he's
he now?
starting his 1 year trends or a
yeah,
couple year trends.
yeah, yeah.
He's
He's
taking the tour.
he's phasing out. Hey, everybody calls him Fat Debo now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now the thing
Should have
I
never
hate
did.
about the thing I hate about getting old is I'm watching all these players and I'm watching their careers fly by, and I'm like,
Hmm.
damn, are they old now?
Yeah, same.
Oh shit, he's retiring. Oh,
Well, that
you
that's
know.
that's that's kind of how I felt seeing Trayvon Diggs on the free agent list. I was like, yo, like he was just the best cornerback like 2, 3 years. Like
Mhm.
like it's so
Yeah,
I don't know, it's crazy.
and Ertz is a free agent.
Hmm.
That's yeah, dude. I hate growing old. But
All
I
right.
mean, yeah, I didn't take a lot of notes. I'm gonna go Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and then obviously Cardinals. Now I
Okay.
will say on the Cardinals, I don't know if you how much of the game you watched, Carson Beck looked good.
Hey,
Now,
don't be fooled. Again,
No,
it's
I was
now,
preseason.
I was
I
thinking
know, but
today, I don't mean to take your spotlight here,
no,
but
go ahead,
I
go
was
ahead.
literally thinking today, I was like, man, if I was in the NFL, my goal would be to not play in the Hall of Fame game in the like first 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I could get through my first contract without playing through the Hall of Fame game. Because if you're not playing in the Hall of Fame game, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Well, I can
But yeah, yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
Y'all done. So I think the Rams are everybody knows the Rams are the Super Bowl favorites, right? I mean, I'm not gonna say you're stupid if you have a different pick, but where we're at right now in the offseason, no football's been played yet. We can't take injuries into account. The Rams should win the Super Bowl. That's it. They should. Will they? That's up for debate. Again, they do have a semi-aging roster. Matthew Stafford, I think he's 39 now or whatever. But I mean, when you look at their roster, dude, they added Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson at cornerback, which were two glaring needs they needed last year. Um, the elephant in the room, Miles Garrett,
Yeah.
he's first ballot Hall of Famer, the best defensive player in the league right now. It's pretty much all but confirmed that Aaron Donald is coming back to play this year. What will he look like after being retired for the last two seasons? That's up for debate, but it's still freaking Aaron Donald. I think he's going to demand respect and demand attention from the O line, which will help free up Miles Garrett. They're bringing back Kobe Turner and Byron Young. He's a great rusher as well. So their defense is just ridiculous, and that was the part that they needed to clean up. So this is definitely the Rams division to lose. Like I said, this is the Rams Super Bowl to lose. Um, I got the 49ers coming in second. Um, this was tough. The 49ers, Seahawks, you can kind of flip flop them however you like. Um, Really for me, it was just the Seahawks lost a lot. And I think the 49ers just added some pieces. They obviously dealt with injury all last year. I think if the 49ers weren't injured, and they still won the playoff game despite all their injuries. So I just think the 49ers are a great team. Love Kyle Shanahan. But they did lose Robert Saleh to the Titans, baby. Robert Saleh is one of the best defensive coordinators. I think him and Brian Flores are, the only two that come to mind when you think of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. And so they did lose him, which I think that's a huge loss. But they added Mike Evans, they added Christian Kirk, which I'm not saying Christian Kirk's some amazing person, but that one kind of snuck through the cracks on me. I was like, wow, that's not a bad third, fourth option, especially because Ricky Pearsall, it's looking like he's going to be out for the season, which sucks for them. I think he was first round, second round draft pick, something like that, a couple years ago, and he just really hadn't been able to be on the field a whole lot. But all in all, I just think the 49ers have a great roster, great head coach. I think Brock Purdy's just a solid quarterback. So I like them coming in second. The Seahawks, they just lost a lot. They lost Kenneth Walker, Kobe Bryant, Boye Mafe. They lost Clint Kubiak, their offensive coordinator. Obviously, he's the head coach at the Raiders now. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a bit of a Super Bowl slump. Do I think that they could make it back in the playoffs and make some noise? Possibly. I'm just not going to bet on it. I do like that they drafted Jadarian Price. I think he was definitely. I mean, he was drafted in the first round, so he wasn't slept on. But being the backup to Jeremiah Love, he definitely didn't get the media attention. But he's a really really good running back, and I think that's a great replacement for Kenneth Walker. And of course, they still have oh gosh, who's their other running back? Why am I
Zach
blanking?
Charbonnet.
Thank you, Zach Charbonnet. So I think they're still going to be a good football team. Again, that top three, all three of these teams could make the playoffs: Rams, Niners, Seahawks. So don't want you to think because I'm putting the Seahawks at third that I'm predicting them to be bad. Just not predicting them to win this very, very, I mean, the best division in football, in my opinion. And then fourth is the Cardinals. They got a couple years to figure things out. I think they'll be a good, decent football team. But if I had to make a projection, I'd probably say they have a top 5, 6 draft pick this year. They don't have a quarterback. I don't care what freaking Carson Beck looked like. I watched him. I watched him for 10 years in college. He's not good.
He
Um,
ain't about.
and Jacoby Brissett, I think, is their projected starter, and he's in a freaking contract battle. I don't know what the heck Jacoby Brissett has grounds to argue about, but regardless, the Cardinals got a lot to figure out. So yeah, I got Rams 1, Niners 2, Seahawks 3, and then the Cardinals coming in dead last.
Yeah, I mean, y'all pretty much wrapped it up. This division is insane, dude. Seattle went 14-3, the Rams went 12-5, 49ers went 12-5, and the Cardinals went 3-14 last year.
I think it's gonna be very similar again this year.
Yeah, me too. It's a toss up to me with Seattle and LA. Um, both of those teams are ridiculous. I think Seattle still has a really good team. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba might be the best receiver in the league, to be honest. Rashid Shaheed, they got him. That he's a really good player. And he came from New Orleans, I think halfway through the season last year. So I think he'll fit in a little bit more. They still got Cooper Cup, and I think he does for a really good possession down guy. Uh, so I think their offense will be okay. Uh, even though they lost freaking Kenneth Walker. I can't believe they got rid of him though. That's insane to me. He won the MVP, correct? In the Super Bowl, and then you get rid of the guy. That's just insane to me. That's like the Vikings. The Vikings are the worst freaking franchise known to man for getting rid of Sam Darnold. But anyway,
Yeah, to me, it's kind of one of those things where it's, I think he was at the end of his rookie contract. So it was, do you pay him or do you let him go? Because,
right.
he probably would have had, I don't know what kind of contract he got at the Chiefs, but to me, no disrespect to Kenneth Walker, I think them getting Jadarian Price, and again, you mentioned still having Zach Charbonnet,
Mhm.
think for the money, I don't think that was such a terrible move.
Right. No, yeah. And I think they still have a really good defensive secondary. They still have Nick Ebenwari, Josh Jobe, Devin Witherspoon. And they still have nose tackle Jaron Reed or Jaron Reed. I don't know how you say that. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it's Jaron
Jaron Reed.
or Jaron Reed. Yeah, and Byron Murphy is pretty good too. They have Demarcus Lawrence too. But yeah, I think Seattle and the Rams is what's going to come down to. The Rams freaking roster is absolutely insane too. They have that 1-2 punch with Connor Williams and Blake Corum, Puka Nakua, of course, Devontae Adams. And Devontae Adams, he was kind of like we were just talking about with who was it? We were just talking about it was on his like last little
Mm-hmm.
hoorah, really. But anyway, I thought he was on his last hoorah, and he kind of found himself there in L.A. And then
Just to jump in real quick, sorry to interrupt you.
you could,
But like you said, Devontae Adams is aging. Puka Nakua, he went into rehab this summer. I guess
Mhm.
he was struggling with alcohol and he had some domestic assault case. He bit some female, but he went to rehab for a little bit. So you just kind of wonder, where's his body, where's his mind gonna be? Is he still gonna be the same? I think most of us expect he will. But if Puka Nakua has any sort of dip again, Devontae Adams is a year older. It's not as scary as a receiving core as maybe last year.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, and obviously that can be a huge, um, gosh,
Factor.
yeah, it can be a huge factor. It could be golly, I'm thinking of the daggone word. I can't even think of the word because I'm an idiot. But anyway, a distraction. That's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, I'm not even gonna go down the rest of the list. I have a Cardinals, 49ers. Though honestly, whenever I looked at the record from last season, and the 49ers were 12-5, that actually surprised me. And I really loved seeing Mac Jones play for him last year. I was hoping that maybe he could get a chance somewhere else from his play last year because I think he did really well. And they have a really good roster, like you just said, but they lost Robert Sala, so that kind of
That's
that's
huge. Well,
um,
that was kind of my point at putting them at second is because, like you said, despite all they had so many injuries last year. Um, I think Fred Warner was hurt, George Kittle, like just so many pieces. And the
Yeah.
fact that they still finished 12-5, it's like, dude, if they can stay healthy this year, I think they're definitely Super Bowl contenders and contenders for this division.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just riddled with guys that are known for injuries, man. I mean, Mike Evans, Debo Samuel, Christian Kirk, all three of those guys are known to be out. George Kittle here recent, the past year or two, he's had some games he's missed. And even Brock Purdy, he's had, you know, time he's missed. So
Well, it's because they're daggum practice facilities right next to a freaking superhero, supervillain electronic field. Have y'all seen that?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, there's like a super power plant literally right next to their practice facility, and everybody's saying, "Oh, well, it's the electrical plant that's calling all these injuries." I don't know, but it definitely I mean, with like you said,
It can't help.
with how riddled they are, yeah, it's definitely not helping. That's for damn sure.
yeah, I need to do something, get out of daggone San Francisco or wherever the heck you're at up there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I got to say about it all, man. And I think that I haven't really looked into the AFC, but to be quite honest with you, I think that the
Titans
NFC
are
might be
ass.
better than the AFC. Yeah, the Titans are definitely.
Well, hey,
Jeez,
don't
they're probably gonna
worry.
have a top three pick again. Oh yeah. One thing
So
I was gonna say earlier about good old Tua. Man, I hope that he kind of has a year that Mac had last year, where he can come in and have some games where he shows that he still got what it takes to be, you know, at
Yeah.
least at least a backup
well, like
in
I
the
said,
daggum league.
from what I'm seeing, I think he, as of right now, at least, he is the projected week 1 starter simply because of Michael Penix recovering from his injury still. Now, he's basically 100% Michael Penix, like he's pretty much fully recovered, but I think with them not wanting to risk it and kind of, hey, let's go ahead and see what we have with Tua because they want Penix to be the guy. I think, they did
Yeah.
draft him what 7th overall or whatever. So you start with Tua. If Tua's not working out, you can go to Penix. But if Tua does work out, then it's like, hey, well, we got a guy. So
Yeah. Speaking of getting old, Penix is on his third year now.
mm, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's probably what 35, right?
Yeah, he's about 30.
Yeah, he came out of the freaking college
Crazy.
like 24 or whatever.
Talking about getting drafted, man. I'm telling you what, I think that over the past several years, the draft has just gotten progressively worse. Like, don't get me wrong, these guys are still great football players. It's just like, especially this past draft, dude. Like, I didn't feel like there was a single guy that was just really stood out above everyone else that everyone just knew that was the first overall pick. Like,
I'm
I think Fernando Mendoza kind of was that, but like he wasn't like compared to previous years.
Yeah, Caleb Williams. I mean,
Yeah,
so some of these other first round, Trevor Lawrence, even. Yeah.
it's just I don't know. You know what I mean though? Like, and
No, I agree. Well, not to get back into college ball, but I think the way that college ball has shifted into, dual threat quarterback, because you can win in college with a dual threat.
yeah,
But you really can't win in the NFL with a dual threat. I mean, ask the Ravens. No disrespect to Lamar, but there's a reason why they haven't been to a Super Bowl. He's won 2 MVPs. That's great.
Mhm.
He's an awesome player. But does it really matter if you're not going to the Super Bowl? And so I think that's kind of watered down at least the quarterback side of things from college and going into the NFL. Mm.
Hell, you can't win in college with a dual threat.
I mean, well, yeah. Look at the last 3 national champions. They didn't
I,
have a dual threat.
I think the last true dual threat quarterback to start and finish, because we're excluding Jalen Hurts, who got
Yeah,
pulled.
Galita lost.
I want to say it was Cam Newton.
Yeah, I think we talked about this, and I think you're right. I think it was Cam Newton. The last,
was
like you said,
And he was just a freak of nature.
Jameis Winston was a pocket passer?
well, no, but was he after Cam? Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
it's
yeah.
2013. Huh?
Well, so okay, so maybe it was Jameis.
Yeah, but Jameis, I don't know. And again, I don't. We're talking NFL. I'm not trying to get too far into college, but I don't think Jameis was really a dual threat. I mean, he was he could use his legs just like, a Josh Allen, some of these other guys, but I wouldn't say that like I say, I wouldn't say he was a dual threat. To me, he was more of a passer than a runner. Like these guys in
Yeah,
college,
absolutely.
they're almost more runners than passers, which is the problem once they get to the NFL.
Yeah, like
Right.
your Marcus Mariota's, Jalen Hurts, Cam Newton, Vince Young. That was
Yeah.
what, oh 05?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
but like you said, I mean, name me the last dual threat quarterback. I mean, I guess you could say Jalen Hurts for the Eagles. Um, but I mean, I guess outside of him, how many dual threat quarterbacks make it and win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
It doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with dual
But
threats.
like
They're fun to
to
watch. They're fun to
to
watch.
be fair, the only reason why Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are able to run the ball as well as they are with the QB is because they can run the ball well with their running back.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Everything comes back to the run game.
yeah. So like this isn't going to be, the Haynes King ball down there at Georgia Tech. Dude. Like
No,
this isn't going to be
the
he gets
Bear
34
Bear
carries a
Bear
game.
Bachmeyer at LSU or
Yeah.
BYU.
Yeah, like dude, we're not doing QB power.
Yeah.
Like 14 times a drive out of 16 plays.
Well, the Eagles tried though with the old tush push.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, like so like I just don't like it when people not saying that y'all are hating on Jalen Hurts. I just don't think Jalen Hurts gets the credit that he deserves. He's a daggone Super Bowl winning quarterback that's been there multiple times and has
Yeah.
won one. So
Mhm.
like regardless of what anybody says, the dude knows how to play quarterback.
So we won't have to get into playoff picks for the NFL yet. We can kind of maybe do that in another episode or something. But something to keep in mind as you're making these sort of lists. Each year, on average, there's 7 new playoff teams. That's NFC and AFC combined. There's been a minimum of 4 new playoff teams every year. Like there hasn't been a year that there hasn't been 4 new playoff teams. So
Wow, I
you
didn't
know,
know that.
yeah. So pretty much out of 14 teams, pretty much half of them didn't make the playoffs last year. Um,
Oh boy,
so
that's not looking good for my Panthers. Because
yeah, well,
if I had to kick a team to the curb from last year,
that's yeah, and that's again, that's I had them finishing second, but second in the NFC South. They're not going to have a good enough record
yeah,
to make the playoffs. And I mean, realistically, no disrespect. I thought they played a heck of a football game against the Rams,
yeah.
which is saying something. But they had a losing record last year and made the playoffs. So should they have been there? Who knows? But is what it is. So yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
So
I'm just glad.
tomorrow, AFC, and we can do playoffs tomorrow for the
Yeah, yeah,
AFC.
yeah, yeah. We can definitely do that. I don't think it'll take a whole hour to do playoff predictions. We took an hour today to do NFC, so I imagine about an hour tomorrow for AFC. So we can go over a little bit tomorrow and run through some playoff predictions. Since again, we've kind of already, if we're using the same list that we made for NFC and AFC, we kind of you at least know your 4 division winners based off these
Yeah.
predictions. So
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Any closing statements?
Get ready for a lot of Titans talk tomorrow, baby.
All right. All right.
Tighten up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to tighten up our drawers. And talk about a serious football team.
Hey, if there's gonna be any, anyway, we'll save that for tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, y'all don't get me started.
That's right.
I bought me a new Titan shirt today with our new logo on it, and I'm all revved up, ready to go.
I've been rocking my Miami gear here lately, brother.
Hey,
Well,
that's when a franchise is struggling when they come out with a new logo.
nah,
Yeah, a professional franchise is rebranding.
that's when a team's about to take off. Hey, the Commanders rebranded and went to the freaking NFC Championship game. So
Yeah.
Atlanta
What?
Falcons rebranded and they daggone had to freaking pay people to come watch them play.
well, that's the Falcons though.
And that's gonna be the Titans.
Mm.
They're gonna have the number 1 pick in the daggone
Well,
draft.
nah, hey, nah.
Calling it now.
I've already called it. The Dolphins are taking that, but again,
No,
that's tomorrow's talk.
I
my
will say
Dolphins can get 5 wins.
I'm back in Kentucky now. And if I hear that stupid ass radio station, I don't know what it's called.
Oh, dude.
102.5 The Game.
Yeah, you gotta turn it on, brother. You're
No.
like, you know what, man? I
What?
think the Titans are gonna be
What?
pretty good,
Yeah,
man.
what's his name? Jared
Yeah,
something.
yeah, something
Ah,
like that.
dude.
Oh
I
god.
did. Just every morning, driving to base. God.
Dude, I love that crap because every time he opened his mouth, there's just like, he's like, "Are you serious? These guys can't even keep a player around a couple years. This is ridiculous." It's like I
Uh,
agree with this guy. He sounds ridiculous.
I just the reason I hate that guy is because he's the one that broke the news to us about Nick Saban, and that was the last guy I needed telling me about Nick Saban.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
I
was
was
could
like,
literally,
imagine.
I
yeah,
was in a U-Haul coming back from Ohio, and I had just gotten into the area to turn on the radio because I wanted to listen to him because it's been a little bit. And next thing I know, it said Nick Saban is retired. Just come out and it's retired. It's official. Of course, I'm
Oh,
going
so
nagging
so
my
I
dude and all
just
sorts of stuff. I
I
almost
just
God.
I just lost my big toe. And I was sleeping with my fucking foot propped up, taking a nap, recovering. I wake up and before I even look at my phone, my wife says, "It's not official yet." I'm like, "What is she talking about?" I look at my phone, Nick Saban. I said,
There you go.
"Oh," I said, "This is the worst week of my life."
that hurt more than dropping that 45-pound weight on your toe.
You damn
I
right
mean,
it did.
me and Whitehall sat at my dinner table for like 45 minutes just having a heart to heart. It's like, who are we gonna like serious? Like you would think that someone had passed away, but who are we gonna have replace this guy?
Well,
Like
do
who?
y'all wanna end this podcast so people ain't hearing our Nick Saban rants?
Yeah, roll tide.
I don't think the person in Japan listening to us cares to hear about our Nick Saban sob stories.
Probably not.
Hey,
All right.
shout out to you listening to Japan. If you made it to the end,
Yeah.
you're a trooper. We will send you a free T-shirt. We don't have T-shirts, but we're gonna make one
We'll
and
get
send it to
one.
you
We'll
because
get one for you.
you're a real one, brother.
Yeah.
That's right.
The good old boys.
All right. I'll see y'all boys.
All right,
Peace out.
boys.
Love y'all.
Y'all have a good one.
Pre-snap